My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Sammaz, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jan Faria, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Yes.
Take one. Well done.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paolini, and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Ready? Play.
Hey Mario, how are you?
Fine, I have to say. Thanks.
I think, if I read correctly, that Mirra Andreeva won the toss and chose to receive. I think, if I saw that right.
I haven't seen the coin toss, actually.
Yeah, no, I saw it. Anyway, so that's an interesting choice. I actually already, on the way here, because I was just walking on the street before seeing, that's a nice drop shot, by the way, from Mirra. I expect your stream to be a little bit ahead of mine, by the way. But before we get into the match itself, which has just got underway, as I say, with Andreeva serving and winning the first point, I was just thinking, which is a question I asked yesterday to Zach about the Runa Draper match, which will obviously come up later. You know, who's got the more pressure? And I think pressure is too strong a word, but I think it probably, you know, I think Sabalenka is a bit more established. Andreeva's got a 1,000 under her belt. You know, it's not quite a free hit. She'll be really, really desperate to win this. But I think maybe Sabalenka is really trying to establish herself as she double faults as potentially not far away from being an all-time great. You know, if she adds a French Open or a Wimbledon or both to her resume, that's 5 Grand Slams, and then you're in that, you know, you're in that category. And Indian Wells is also another feather in her cap that she would be desperate to add, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, for sure. You know, I think Sabalenka, of course, pressure is everywhere in this sport and every player feels it for sure. But, you know, Sabalenka, I think she also wants this to kind of definitely forget the Australian Open disappointment, despite, of course, reaching the finals is a great result for everybody. But for, you know, we know that Sabalenka was trying to go for a third straight title there. And so, yeah, as you say, of course, she's in this position right now where she can really, if she adds something to her palmarès, to, you know, establish herself as as a fantastic. She's already a fantastic champion, but really an all-time great, as you say. So, yeah, for sure, in an Indian Wells title. Even though, of course, the Grand Slams are, the tournament which mostly defines,
the
which
greatness.
category we should assign to a player. Still, of course, Indian Wells is a very, very important and prestigious title. Even if we consider the 1,000 events, is truly one of the most prestigious one, if not the most prestigious one right now. So yeah, for sure, it will be great. And also winning here for sure will let her. She should be fine in the clay season, the world number 1 position, but adding another title here in Indian Wells should really, give her a little wow.
I know, yeah. This is in the
football result.
Yeah, it's not quite finished, but this is the cup final. In England, of course, we have 2 cups, but yeah, this is it's an interesting scoreline.
Maybe also trying to go for the Sunshine Double. Who knows if she wins in Indian Wells, which is a great achievement. So.
Yeah, honestly, it's all, and I know there's Mirra Andreeva on the other side of the net, and we'll come to her sort of situation in a moment as Sabalenka holds. But yeah, I'm. It's not just me who's thinking in this way. By the way, regarding Sabalenka, I think she is thinking in this way. When she lost that match to Mukova at the French Open, and I spoke to her, I think about a year later, maybe in Berlin. I'm not sure. I spoke to her maybe just a few months later. Actually, it was 2023, wasn't it? And yeah, she was annoyed that she lost that semi-final and from the position she was in, and it hurt her a lot. And I think she is very motivated to establish herself as an all-time great. And I think if you win 5 slams or more, especially across 2 or 3 surfaces, and you've got an Indian Wells or you've got a Sunshine Double, well, then you're just adding to your legacy. Now, there are some players, and that's totally fine, that may be not their biggest goal. They may have other goals. They may want to enjoy themselves. I'm watching Gael Monfils, for example, and I think he would love to win a Grand Slam, but I think right now he just wants to enjoy tennis, and I think he is enjoying it. So, but I think Sabalenka at her age, in her situation, with her talents, and there's also this conversation that I mentioned yesterday with Gavin McMillan, member of her team. He was not putting pressure on her, but he said if she wants to go for it, as in become an all-time great, she has everything within her capabilities,
Yeah, 26 years old and 3 Grand Slam titles, and also many more deep runs at Grand Slams on every surface in every Grand Slam tournament. So she can definitely believe that she can win all the Grand Slam tournaments. Of course, I don't know, Iga is incredible at the French Open, but Aryna has done well in the past in that tournament. And same thing at Wimbledon. So she's the best player in the world right now, because she's the world number 1 with a clear margin. It's going to be more than 2,000 points compared to the world number 2, Swiatek, in this moment. So yeah, I would agree for sure. Also, this is also the 26, 27, probably the peak moment for a tennis player, when you have everything, maturity, but you're still, of course, very capable also physically to do everything you need. And so, yeah, for sure. And also, I also think that having lost that Australian Open final is really motivating her to try to forget it, almost definitely by winning a big title like the Indian Wells one. Andreeva, has won Dubai. She's 17. She's probably even exceeding a little bit the expectation in terms of when she reached this stage. Maybe most of us were thinking about later in the year or maybe next season. So I think she's the one who can probably enjoy more the
Yeah.
occasion and the situation.
She puts a lot of pressure on herself, I think, which is, you know, a good thing in some ways. So I'm sure that she'll still be feeling it. But yeah, I would be trying to remind her, look, everything's great so far, and you can just enjoy the occasion. And if you win, great. If you don't worry about it. Sabalenka a little bit loose at the beginning of this game. Yeah, so we'll have to keep an eye on this. This could be the first sort of big pressure moment for a server. Sabalenka, I think she went love 30 down on her serve in the first game, but
Yeah, even
recovered
though
from that
first
whole.
service game, you know,
Yeah.
of course, the more we get into the match, the more these moments will create pressure.
She's just Sabalenka's a bit annoyed with herself over those first 2 points that were just very sort of loose from her, and not loose as in that she doesn't care, but just way off what you would expect with her. And then don't forget, of course, that Australian Open, she had that slow start and ultimately, you know, couldn't quite recover. I mean, by the way, it's interesting hearing Alcaraz yesterday say something similar about how nervous he felt before yesterday's semi-final.
Yeah. I mean, it happens to these players as well. We think, oh God, they've won 3, 4, 5 Grand Slam titles. They've played these matches plenty of times, but yeah, they also feel the nerves, the occasion at times. Maybe they feel how important it is, that particular match for them, for whatever reason in that moment. So we also have to understand that we talk a lot about stats, results, ranking, their careers, but tennis is also an individual sport, which, you know, a particular pressure moment may depend on your particular, I don't know, life moment, or what that match means to you in that particular situation you are living. And so, you know, it happens.
A drive volley. And it was a drive volley close to the net. I think a drive volley can be tricky, and some of these professionals make them look very easy. But
yeah, I remember Sharapova was a player who used to hit these shots very well.
Yeah. I mean, as I say, it was tricky, but it was also much more doable than others because she was so close to the net. Anyway, 2 break points. She does seem like she's up in the rally here as I see her pushing Andreeva from side to side. Coming into the net, it's a nice volley from Sabalenka. I was worried when I saw that coming towards her, just because maybe I don't have a huge amount of faith in her at the net. I wasn't sure, but that was a nice volley.
Well, it was difficult.
It was.
I think just for that reason.
Yeah.
Sabalenka actually has an underrated hand and ability to, you know, to vary and to handle these shots. But still, it was, of course, a very difficult volley. So yeah, I get.
Oh, another drive volley there, but she's going to get a smash now. But that's difficult, but she's still in charge of the point. But I think it could be close to neutral again. In fact, Andreeva's defending there. Oh, that was, I tell you what, from Sabalenka, that was impressive. Just because the amount of times that there were some tricky ones. There was that overhead that she had after the bounce. There was the drive volley, bearing in mind she just missed the previous drive volley. But to then sort of almost be at neutral, okay, it was a slightly short ball, but still put it away, because when you keep trying to put your opponent away and you're not doing it, with every single one, it gets more difficult. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. You know, it also can frustrate you a little bit when your opponent, of course, forces you to hit so many shots, and also the energy level can drop a little bit, you know, as long as the rally goes on. So
what about that defensive shot that turned into an attacking shot? That squash shot there from Andreeva. Look where that lands. I mean, just incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit ahead, actually.
Yes, I know. I'm sure you are. Yeah,
but yeah,
I'm not looking at the score intentionally. But yeah, I'm about to see this point anyway. She's got a break point here. Pretty neutral right now. It's a slicer that goes into the net, so we're back to deuce. But yeah, I reckon you're probably 1 point ahead, 30 seconds. I don't know.
I even think a bit more.
Are you
But
in Miami? Are you in
not
Miami
much.
already?
Yeah, I'm in Miami. I'm watching the Miami semifinal.
Yeah, so I'm at Juice here anyway. But yeah, just coming back to that Andreeva shot even and just her capabilities. I mean, she's more than just a great defender for sure. You don't have as much success as she already is if you don't. But she gets another break point. But that was just an incredible, defensive shot that just actually she was on the defense, but then it was Sabalenka who loses the point immediately afterwards. She's going to get another break point here.
Yeah, I mean, a great defender because it's not just, reaching the ball, but how she's able to handle those situations and to find something special so many times. So yeah, this can be a very important game actually.
Yeah, she started the better of the two, that's for sure. I mean, even that first service game from Sabalenka, I know she obviously holds there to 30, but she was love 30 down, losing the first 2 points of the match. And now she's already saved 2 break points. That return of serve there from Andreeva was close as well. So she just went wide on this. It's another break point that's come and gone. Yeah, an important game, as you say.
But Sabalenka is there, it's different, facing a difficult situation right at the beginning, but it's different feeling, in my opinion, from the Australian Open final.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a couple mistakes, but overall, she's also played a few great points, and I'm really enjoying the match so far. Even though, of course, the level can still grow, I think, and a lot actually, considering how well these two players can do on the court.
Yeah, Aryna especially will be keen to start landing some of the balls that she's been missing. Anyway, let's see how she gets on here with the game point. She's going to miss her first serve. Miami, just looking forward, if we get a break point again, I'll obviously bring us back to the match. But Miami looking forward, yeah, I guess pretty open. Maybe that might, as Sabalenka does hold in the end. Just thinking maybe Sabalenka, maybe Rybakina might, just quicker hard court conditions there. It's sort of, eager now, sort of from being an over quite a big favourite in Indian Wells. Sort of maybe her advantage comes down, and maybe having not done that well there, because Sabalenka's yet to make a final, but Rybakina, of course, was in the final there last year, I think. Maybe these two players might sort of fancy their chances in Miami as well.
Yeah, it's a bit tough. I would like to see also how Goff can play. I think even the match against Bencic was actually the best one she played. So kind of a little bit of encouraging signs, even though she lost, in terms of the process. Yeah, it feels pretty open, even though, of course, Aryna. Yeah, I mean, there's been that Middle East swing far from good from here. But if you look at the big picture, starting from Cincinnati last year, she's won an incredible amount of matches, and even against top 20, top 10 players, she's above 80% of effectiveness. So she's actually doing really well, despite in the Middle East a couple disappointing performances. So I still think Sabalenka kind of enters the tournaments as the favorite in this particular moment. But yeah, it feels pretty open for sure.
Yeah. We
And
might get an outsider, Mario. We might get a Daniel Collins or an Ostapenko or something. Maybe a bit of an outsider there that goes and takes the title.
It's definitely possible. Because we have a lot of great player in WTA, but actually things get pretty even once, for example, Sabalenka finds a bad day at the office, or Iga is a little bit ups and downs. I don't know, maybe Andreeva having gone so deep and both Dubai and Indian Wells may not be as good as she's been in this week in Miami. Who knows? So yeah, for sure, there is place for these stories, and indeed we have seen them this year because we've seen Anisimova winning her first 1000 title. We have seen, of course, the Madison Keys, let's say, breakthrough, even if she's a veteran of the tour. So yeah, here Andreeva may feel a bit of pressure, actually.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, maybe an Anisimova, maybe somebody like that, Alexandrova. Yeah, just thinking about Coco. I think she's still missing a bit. She's just missing a bit, especially when it comes to confidence. I think that was wow, yeah, love 40, and I'm seeing that. What turned out to be a drop shot. I think it was probably in the end the decision, but it was she didn't have many options there. Sabalenka. It was
I have to say that I'm not sure. It 100% like I wanted to do that.
She was deceived. Now I don't know if that was the wind, but the ball seemed to move further away from her than she had expected. I think it was the wind, actually, because I'm watching that a bit more now. And she should win the point there. She does. And so she's the first person to draw blood here with the break of serve. And she leads 3-1.
What do you think? Of course, this had to add these also, this way, because they've played also when Mirra was, still not good enough to challenge Aryna. But why do you think this matchup is particularly tough? Of course, Sabalenka being a fantastic player, but, also from other aspects for Andreeva.
I do think a lot of it is about timing. That, when they met in Madrid for the first time, I thought, I think this is where Andreeva's probably going to find it most difficult. That's the first thing. So that's one of the 5 or 4 losses she's had. Is it 4-1 right now?
Yeah, 4-1.
Yeah, 4-1. They have also tended to meet, haven't they? What they've had 2 on clay and then, 3 on clay, because they also had another one in Madrid. Well, there you go. Madrid is another thing, right? That's Sabalenka, certainly best clay court, but probably even better than some hard courts, and maybe
probably one of her 2-3 best courts,
right?
For sure.
Exactly.
Probably Australia and Madrid are up there.
So when she can get that sort of pop on her serve that she gets in those locations, nice return of serve there for Andreeva. That is certainly going to help her a lot. And so that's 2 of the 4 losses that she's had, I think. The one win she had again was also about timing in a way, in that I think she got a bit lucky, Andreeva, in that Sabalenka was as sick as she was. I think it's difficult to imagine Sabalenka not winning that match if she's 100% healthy, because I know we see matches and sometimes we see players and afterwards they say they weren't feeling great or whatever, but you still think, that may be the case. But I think that day was, it was a bit fortunate, I think, for Andreeva to win that quarterfinal. But she took advantage of it, and good for her. So I think a lot of it is either circumstance, when it happened, or where it happened, rather than necessarily, because I think she can deal with big hitters, Andreeva.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, actually, it's, basically just Sabalenka among the hard eaters of the tour, being the best one in handling, the opponent's variety. And she also can defend quite well, Sabalenka, despite it not being her, the best thing about their game. And also maybe as I told you, I think Sabalenka already feels it like some sort of rivalry, and so she also has this sort of extra motivation to to maybe show Andreeva she has still some work to do, and she's still the better player as so far. I have to say now Sabalenka is playing very, very steady, and probably Andreeva has lost a little bit of confidence in these last minutes.
Yes, I think so. I think we've seen a bit of that hold of serve that Sabalenka had, and Mirra kind of, there was a return of serve that she may still be thinking about, because that return of serve was very makeable, and she was quite attacking on it because she was going for the line, and she got it just the wrong side of the line. And if she breaks there, who knows how this first set could be? But she missed it by a few centimeters. Sabalenka goes on to hold and then immediately break in the next game, as is so often the case. But yeah, I don't see it being a matchup thing. I see it being a slight gap in quality at times.
Yeah, absolutely.
Certainly
I agree with this.
Yeah, and certainly experience and timing and location and all sorts. I'd be interested to see them play at Wimbledon. That could be fun because I think Andreeva on grass can be very good too.
Yeah. I mean, she's been already. She's been, she's 17. I feel like she's already been in a Wimbledon second week. So
yeah, was it Madison Keys she lost to? 23.
I cannot check because I'm watching the match on phone. So I'm useless.
Yeah, I just remember a really good match that the two had, and I'm pretty sure it was at Wimbledon. Yeah, it was. And I'm seeing it now. So Andreeva wins the first set at Wimbledon. This is in the fourth round. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
6-3. And Keys wins the second 7-6, but she may have been a breakdown, maybe even an early break. This is now off the top of my head. I think Andreeva is up 6-3 in an early break. Once Keys gets that break back at some point, and I don't remember when it was, that felt significant when it happened. And then she wins that set, and the third set, got away from it. It was a great, entertaining match to watch, but you could see the mental side of it a little bit that day.
Actually, so we were just a match away from Andreeva Sabalenka at Wimbledon already because Keys lost to Sabalenka then in the quarter.
She did, yeah.
So...
yeah, I'd forgotten that. I don't remember that Madison Keys Sabalenka match. There were so many really good matches at Wimbledon that year. Most of them seemed to involve Ons Jabeur. But I don't remember that Sabalenka Keys match. Anyway, there's a Madison Keys Cartel match. I don't remember that one either in the first round. Oh, did you see the notebook thing with Andreeva?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
I actually don't think it's that uncommon.
No, it's not, Mario. But can I just interrupt you? Sorry. There's a sort of, as I'm watching it for the first time, seeing a player with a notebook, making lots of notes. We see other players do it as well. So it's just the coincidence that the wind blows the paper like that on every single player that she's beaten.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I mean,
and you see it in capital letters. And that's another thing I thought was interesting. She puts capital letters for her opponent at the top of the page, and then the rest of it is just small case. I didn't see what language. She's written in Russian, but I couldn't decipher that.
I'm not sure because I think
she might write in English.
Yeah, I think because at least what I believe, it's something that needs to be understood from Conchita as well.
Okay.
Because I mean, I think they kind of do it together.
Yeah.
Or with other members of the team. Well, so that's why my guess is that it's written in English.
Yeah. I just saw a shot there that Andreeva would normally make. Again, I think the wind is a factor. Funny thing is, it seems like the wind has been a factor in every match I've seen. I know it's a cliche with Indian Wells, but there would be 2 or 3 days in the past in Indian Wells where it wouldn't be windy. But it seems to me right now that I'm seeing spells of wind in every match. And even just in the space of 10 minutes, it can be quite different that she puts that smash away, and that'll give her some confidence.
Yeah, that's true, actually. I don't think we've seen matches like, for example, Nadal against Alcaraz, or there's a famous rally between Ivanovic and Wozniacki that at times we see on the timeline on Twitter. But still, there's always been this year this, let's say medium wind that has been a factor. That's true.
Good. I'm going to have a quick look at the live chat. Hi, Ashley. Hi, Jake. Good to see some regulars here as well.
Overall, I don't remember big classics in the tournament, I have to say.
No.
There's been a great third set between Kirstea and Navarro. And
I saw somebody at the beginning, I think it was Ben Rothenberg was tweeting that it was talking about the change of surface, and I probably side with Damien. I don't remember what your thoughts were, but as it turns out, it's probably not made a big difference. But I'm more of a fan of diversity on the tour, and therefore Indian Wells being the sort of slow, gritty court that it was before.
Yeah,
I was more in favor of. But anyway, but one of the arguments that Ben put across on the opposite side was that there hasn't been many classic matches at Indian Wells in recent years. I think it's a coincidence. I think that it could be the wind, could be,
I think it's true, actually.
Go on.
Meaning that then it depends on what Ben thinks when he talks about classics. If he just thinks about, I don't know, the semifinals and the final,
We
then
had a
probably
great one with Sabalenka last year, didn't we? Early round, no?
Yeah, I mean, these have been very good and entertaining matches. Then it's something different for sure. Then I can get, we may not get the cleanest, probably, tennis play ever because of the gritty surface. But I don't think that, the fact that we haven't seen many classics truly depends on that. And even because if we go, if we dig into the matches, probably we have seen some great matches we don't remember. So maybe it's a coincidence that these later stages of the tournaments haven't truly delivered, but it's not like we will remember forever the US Open 24 rather than just because Sinner won it. So it depends, I believe, on the matches and lots of things.
I don't know if there's a tournament or a location or a court or a surface that I would say I don't like this tournament. Like there might be tournaments like you mentioned, for example, in isolation, the US Open 24. But until 2023, so 2022, 2021, those two US Opens on both sides of the draw. But think about 21 with Raducanu, but also you had Djokovic chasing the calendar slam, and there were some great matches that year on the men's side as well. Then 22, you had. I see a bit of frustration here from Andreeva. But then in 22, you had the epic with Sinner and Alcaraz and many other matches that I'm missing. But I don't look at that as being, that's because it's New York or that's because of the surface.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just can collide like that. And same with Wimbledon. And I don't want to see, Paris,
Wimbledon 23 final, it's been a great one. Wimbledon 24. Yeah. Same players, same court, same surface. Right. It's been a letdown.
Yeah.
But then again, maybe, you prefer watching tennis being played on faster courts. And so you don't truly enjoy the green on the slower court. But I think it's kind of a coincidence as well. It's like saying, if you say clay never gives us classics, and maybe it's not like that, because you may look at, for example, some French Open matches between Djokovic and Nadal, but even some lower players. And so I don't have a theory about that.
No, I think I understand, and I'm totally fine with that. People will have a preference. Often that preference will be where you grew up. People in the UK will just, love Wimbledon and all the rest of it and sort of look at the French Open and clay and all the rest of it. And I get it. If you're from North America, you've probably got a fondness for Wimbledon and the traditions, but you'll also be a big fan of the hard courts and maybe not a fan of the clay, and so on and so forth. And I don't have a big problem with that. My own personal sort of preference is clay, slow, hard court. That's my personal preference. But also don't forget, Mario, big factor, where is your favorite player having a lot of success as well?
Sure.
You know?
Even though I have to say that, for me, who's been my favorite player from the childhood, and when I was a kid, now it's the US Open, my favorite slam, but when I was a kid, the French Open for me was the Grand Slam I was looking forward to the most, despite already kind of knowing who was going to win it.
It's funny, I was in Paris about 3 years ago for that French Open, and actually, funny enough, when it comes to the slams, I have enjoyed the US Open for a variety of reasons. Some because there's been some classic finals and some classic stories from there until 2023 at least. But there was also I like the time zone. You could come home from work 5 o'clock and the tennis would begin. So that's a huge factor. So there's just loads of subjective stuff going on. But and it's okay if you like Wimbledon and you like the grass, that's fine as well. Me personally, I do find it a big adjustment, and that's fun, and that's one of the things I love about tennis. But that sort of eye test and everything else when we go from the French Open to the grass is a bit weird for me, but that's great.
I agree. For me, it's the same actually. I enjoy the grass at Wimbledon. Before I struggle a little bit. I have to admit.
I'm thinking of Hergen-Togenbosch and that some of those immediate tournaments afterwards.
Not for women's tennis though. I have to say, just because the serve is a little less prominent. And so, I struggle less to get used to the grass with women's tennis rather than men's tennis. Then we come to Wimbledon, and maybe it's also because of the Grand Slam, but I feel like for me it becomes better.
This is looking better and better and better right now for Aryna. Now, I know you're going to be a point ahead of me. I'm going to move my eyes away from both you and our screen. But I am seeing Andreeva. I saw a little bit of frustration a few points ago. She's obviously quite annoyed with her level right now. And it's a pity because from her perspective, the first 3 games were going almost perfectly. But that huge game that we spoke about where I thought that was going to be a double fault, but it was a big second serve from her. But I'm seeing Sabalenka here, just look at that from Aryna. We talked about her making adjustments to her game and
she's
improvement.
Playing very well.
Yeah.
She had that, slow start, but as I said before, not even that slow, but, just probably a little bit of nerves. And then I think that game where she saved those 4 break points, she kind of shrugged off all the pressure.
Oh, yeah, it was 4 in the end, wasn't it? Yeah, I forgot that because there was the 2 at deuce that I remember. Exactly. But she was 15-40 as well. Yeah.
I got asked how has my day been. I have to say good, because it's been a great day outside as well. 18 degrees, so it's been a very nice day, and I have been just very calm. And so I'm fine with that.
Nice. Yeah, so just regarding Sabalenka, she is playing much better now. But the variety that she's added to her game a bit in the last year or two is also another sign that she's not happy with just winning Australian Opens and US Opens, I think. Well, in fact, even the US Open was, as we see, a double fault there, and we've got another set point for Sabalenka. Even the US Open, we started to see a bit more variety there from Sabalenka last year. In fact, I would say that was a big example of how she'd made a step forward in her game. And I think, as I say, she's very keen to add to her resume as I'm watching her go down into the body. Good return there from Sabalenka as they exchange now. Good depth there from Sabalenka, and it forces the error, and she wins the first set by 6-2. Andreeva, I said at the beginning of the stream, I was like, Andreeva can just be chill, doesn't matter. Well,
not really.
It does matter.
Then the match starts, and these things we say, they are kind of worthless, because you may get frustrated, you may lose some opportunities, and just get angry at yourself a bit. But I have to say that Sabalenka is playing super well. 9 winners, 8 unforced errors, but I think like 5 probably of these 8 unforced errors came in the first 2 or 3 games. So
that's interesting. So Sabalenka, 8 unforced errors, and she was at 8 about 2 games ago, because I remember seeing it as 8-4. I think when it was 4-2. Yeah, when it's 4-2, I saw 8-4. And I thought to myself, it's funny that Sabalenka is leading 4-2, but she's double the number of errors of her opponent. But then she's not hit a single one since then.
Yeah, exactly. So Andreeva is also probably lost a little bit of her calmness, talking really, how she does things mid-rally. She's taken some decisions that she shouldn't have taken, escaped from the rally a bit. But it also may be caused by, of course, Sabalenka's precision today, and the way she's just handling everything very well and putting pressure on Andreeva. So so far this match has been kind of the same story we got used to in this matchup this year, which is still fine. I think actually Sabalenka is a fantastic player on slow courts. She's done very well on clay as well. She's been in the Rome final last year as well, and also when it's slow, I feel like she's as comfortable and on the fast courts. So I didn't think before the match this was going to be a huge factor, the fact that in Indian Wells it's a little bit slower. Yeah, probably helping Andreeva, but if Sabalenka doesn't start missing a little bit more, it seems very difficult actually.
And that's been the big change in many respects. That those 8 unforced errors, and many of them coming in those first 3 games. Where
was it 8-4?
8-4, yeah, and it's now 8-7.
8-16 in the end.
Oh right, okay.
So in the graphic, I read this way. So I mean, this kind of says it all, meaning that Andreeva kind of lost the plot of the match, while Sabalenka just she could have actually won even the game where Andreeva held.
She get to 30? I remember that one. Yeah, but just one thing. I've just seen another replay of that point where it was like a drop shot from Sabalenka, and I think actually I'm going to give her a bit more praise, because she had to make a big adjustment due to the wind. I'm not necessarily saying that the whole drop shot was all calculated in her mind, because she had to react last second when she realized the ball was going to blow away from her much further. But it was still a pretty skillful shot to sort of do the squash shot, get a nice bit of spin on it just over the net, and there was nothing Andreeva could do about it. And I think that may well have been in one of the breaks of serve as well. So, yeah, Andreeva's gone off for a quick reset. She's returning to the court right now, so it's a pretty swift one. But yeah, she might just be feeling a bit of deja vu right now, Andreeva.
Yeah, for sure. But at the same time, I think she just has to remind herself that she actually has to enjoy the occasion, because I know that you want to win, you are ambitious for sure. This is everything in tennis, winning and lifting the trophies, especially for these players. But still, you have to go through, through the challenge. And she's kind of disappeared from the court. She's kind of faded away from the challenge in the end of the first set. So she's gonna have to find back this, let's say, tough challenge pleasure that, makes you play well in the big matches and against the great opponents.
2 things. First of all, the first point of the second set, she was certainly up for the challenge there. Secondly, against Rybakina in Dubai. Was it Dubai that she won the tournament?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was in Dubai when she beats Rybakina, I think in the quarterfinals. She's down a break in the third set. It might have been semifinals. I'm not sure. Quarterfinal or semifinal. She's down a break in the third set. And actually, she chilled. She relaxed. She still played great tennis, but she said in her on-court interview afterwards, I thought maybe that's it. I'm done. So I just started to chill and start to swing a bit more freely. And then she wins, I think she won the last 4 or 5 games to actually ultimately win that match.
Yeah, this is important because you know, you just get blocked if you, well, my dog has gone crazy, whatever,
We love it. We love
for whatever reason. And Andreeva struggles to keep up with Sabalenka's physicality and power. You know, that's for sure a little bit. You know, it's a tough challenge for everybody actually on tour to keep up with Sabalenka's you know, physicality and the power over shots. And but yeah, Andreeva has, in my opinion, what it takes to cope with it. She, you know, just has to kind of trust maybe her solutions. Let's see if it will happen today, or maybe not, but it will happen in the future for sure. I mean, she already won once against Sabalenka, even though Aryna was in particular circumstances. So
great return of serve there, by the way, to help her
just a
en
moment.
route. That's okay, no problem. To help her get a couple of great break points in this game, as I see Sabalenka's serve just evading her a little bit there as well. So 42 minutes on the clock, and Andreeva starting the first set in similar fashion to which she began the match. Remember, she was up 2-1, and she had 4 break points in that game, and some excellent returns of serve here that Sabalenka is struggling to get her hands on. One thing about Sabalenka is that she doesn't really quite have like an opponent that's got her number in the way that, say, Ostapenko has Swiatek, or Azarenka has Ostapenko, if you like. Sabalenka doesn't quite have an opponent that you like. That's her big problem on the tour, at least off the top of my head. Yeah, she has a negative head-to-head against Iga Swiatek, but so does basically everyone on tour. Big serve there, helping her save the first break point as we get to 30-40.
Okay.
I was just saying that Sabalenka doesn't quite have an opponent that's like, that's the one who always gives her trouble. You know, Iga has a record against... go on.
Yeah,
go on.
there are few uncomfortable matchups, but yeah,
Okay.
most of them are come a little bit from the past. You know, even the head-to-head against Vekic.
Yeah.
Anisimova, even though she lost to Anisimova last year. Yeah, I feel like it's, you know, many of these matches she lost were from 21, 20 to... so yeah, I have to say that, you know, actually from, let's say, 23, late 22, Sabalenka has taken a step forward in terms of quality and, you know, the way she can handle the challenges mid-match, mid-tournament, the way she can also handle the pressure of having to pick at the right moment, because despite a few losses in, you know, the Australian Open final this year, a couple semifinals, but still she's able to find her best form for every Grand Slam. So, well, you know, I kind of agree. You know, there's not an Ostapenko for
No.
her, really. A few opponents where you may get, she has trouble here in the past, but, you know, there's not a real, let's say, kryptonite.
No. Again, it's about timing, isn't it? I mean, I'm just looking at the weirdly enough, I'm looking at the Sakkari Sabalenka head-to-head just to see. Of course, I know where
even
they
though
are.
7-3, it's still quite good.
Yeah, I mean, but Sabalenka's won the last 3, so
Yes,
that
exactly.
You know, and that's where Sabalenka is, and that's where Sakkari was. You know, until 2022, you know, Sakkari was 4-3, and it was fine. You know, Sakkari winning that one of the WTA finals in 2022. That would have been in Guadalajara. Was it those WTA finals in 22?
22 Fort Worth.
Oh, Fort Worth 22, was it? Okay. Wow.
Yeah, Guadalajara 21.
Wow, Sakkari winning that one in Fort Worth then. Okay, yeah. 21 was 21 was, yes, 21 was Guadalajara. That was a fun.
Yeah, because Sakkari won all the round robin matches, and Iga as well. Iga then faced Aryna and lost, and Garcia won the tournament. That one, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, in Fort Worth. Yeah, she did. Yeah, she beat Sabalenka in the final, I think, right?
Yeah, 7-6, 7-6, something similar. But Aryna was already started looking better, and then 23. We all know what happened.
Yeah, because Sabalenka beat Iga in the semis. Yeah, and we started to sort of well, we didn't know it then, but we were about to see the Sabalenka sort of step forward again with that, obviously that Australian Open title in 23. And ever since then, she's always been close. She was always close, semi-final, titles, unbelievable performances, living with the best when she was playing her best. But then from 23, she found both some consistency, and she went up a level as well, I think. And confidence, I think. Confidence was the big thing for her, I think, from 22 to 23.
She really started, believing probably in her status and the ability to, be the best player in the world. I mean, she co-inhabited that thing with Iga for a bit. Right now she's the best player in the world. The difference is quite big in the ranking right now. So she's got this status. Probably 23 ended in a bittersweet way because she lost that WTA finals match and she didn't get the year-end #1 ranking. But 24 was another great season for her. Especially the second part was amazing. Then a little bit gassed at the WTA finals, but the run she had, winning one Cincinnati US Open, basically everything. So I mean, another thing is, we talked about her in Australia. Has she looked that good in Australia this year? She still went, title in Brisbane and final in Melbourne. So, and actually very close to the title. So she has a different pedigree. She can win many matches even without playing the best tennis of her life. Maybe other times in the past, this was not possible.
I mean, in a way, it's a bit like Iga. Iga can play not well in Paris and still win the title, in Roland Garros. The serve has been something that a lot of people have talked about with Andreeva in terms of an improvement. And I think we've just seen a good example of it there. A couple of good examples, 2 aces back to back. But yeah, that's certainly something that people have been talking about with Andreeva making a step forward as she's trying to seek a hold here. And I think it's right and it's justified. And yeah, I think it's a great weapon for her to have. So I think that's something where she might point to say, look, this match with Sabalenka could be different because I've taken a step forward there as she holds here for 1-all.
Yeah, an important game because, again, a couple break points, 3 actually break points that Aryna saved in the first game of this set. So it was very important to hold because if not, it was starting looking, very bad. Well, I still have to say that we don't have, even if this ends, let's imagine 2 and 3, even though, of course, we are still many things can happen. Let's imagine this. We don't have to get, in my opinion, too disappointed. I mean, I'll be disappointed for this particular match, but not in, I wouldn't be there dwelling too much on the performance, the way she lost, the way she, it's definitely fine. She's playing the world #1. She's on a winning streak. She'll have time, let's say. Let's think at, how Sinner has struggled so much to beat Medvedev. Then he managed to do it. I think it'll happen. And again, we cannot compare to. It's important, of course, to solve the Sabalenka rebus, let's say, because Sabalenka is the #1, so she's going to be in your way for many of the the big titles. But she will. She is yet to turn 18. So
listen, just one thing as well with the Sabalenka serve, and it's, we all know how big it is. The first one, obviously, but it is significant. But if Andreeva can return as well as she has done on occasions today, we've seen her because Sabalenka's sort of still finishing her first service mode. She's a tall girl. That is something that if she can just return with the venom that she has done on occasions, there's not much Sabalenka can do about those points because she's still you know, Sabalenka, with her height, it's always going to be difficult to be a mover in the same way that other players are. I don't know if it's a big gap in the height difference, but I'm guessing Sabalenka's at 2 or 3 centimeters taller than Iga, for example. Have a look. Let's get it. Her height. But I just saw the way she couldn't deal with a couple of those returns from Andreeva, and I thought, yeah, that's the way to go.
Yeah, for sure.
So Sabalenka's 182. Let's have a look. I mean, I know Swiatek is not short, but yeah, 176. 176.
Yeah,
so
indeed.
That seems about right.
I'll spoil you. Finally, Andreeva has converted the break point.
Yeah, and do you know what? The point before it was interesting with that moon ball, which she's tried a few times today, 2 or 3 times anyway, and I think one of them went out. But as soon as that moon ball landed in, I was thinking, yeah, this is going to be tricky for Sabalenka to deal with, and she sprayed it wide, which set up the 2 break points, and ultimately, yeah.
Now we'll see, of course, if you know, how crucial this will be. I don't know. Of course, Andreeva has already been broken a couple times, so you know it's definitely possible to Aryna for Aryna to break back. But still, finally converting a break point,
and it's the return as well. I mean, that was a return winner, by the way, that helped her break serve there. But yeah, maybe we are seeing a slight momentum change here. We'll see.
Very possible. Also because, you know, mentally, I don't know how many breakpoints she created today. I've seen a stat, 18 this season against Sabalenka, 0 converted. So
wow, okay. So it's the first time she's broken Sabalenka this year, at least, because they played. This is their 3rd match this year, I think, right?
Yeah, the 3rd match. But still, managing finally to convert this breakpoint today after so many breakpoints, you know, you haven't converted, can for sure be help you mentally to play, you know, a bit more with a bit more confidence.
So yeah, those 2 matches coming in Australia, of course, I think we spoke about this during the preview, that were both straight sets wins for Aryna, losing 5 games in Brisbane and 3 in Melbourne. But yes, she must have created a few break points in those 2 matches as well and wasn't able to take any. Then there was the ones that came and went today. I'm guessing maybe she had in the first set, she had 4 in one game, right? And then she had 2 more at the beginning of the second set as well, and wasn't. So she had at least 6.
3. I'm pretty sure it was 3, or maybe it's just me being wrong.
maybe. So 6 or 7 anyway she had, and she got over the line finally. And she had 11 across those previous 2 matches as well, which, given how the scoreline looks, is maybe a little bit surprising. But I wonder if she knew. I wonder if Mirra knows that she hadn't broken Aryna's serve yet this year, and had, you know,
she should know. I think
these are things. Notes,
I think you remember.
Yeah.
At least, you know, if it becomes difficult. But I've never broken her. I think it's something you can remember by yourself, you know, because you remember these sort of matches a little bit, how they go.
Yeah, I think you do. Certainly over like, if she'd never broken Aryna, I just wonder if she knows this year from the. Yeah, but she probably does. Yeah, she probably does, because you'll think about it when you lose those matches. She was probably telling herself it was a bit closer than the scoreline suggested. You know, she's probably telling herself, "Listen, I lost 3 and 2 today, but if I take just one of those breaks of serve, you know, maybe that's a lovely backhand down the line there from Andreeva." Yeah, so I'm sure she will have told herself that the scoreline probably didn't tell the whole story in terms of when you have those break. Funny enough, I often think about this in football. We gauge football in terms of opportunities, right? Who was the better team? We always say, well, we think about the chances that one team has. You know, Team A had 4 chances that they probably should have scored, and Team B had 1. But it was 1-0, it was 1-0 because that other team took their 1 chance.
Well, in tennis, we do the opposite, maybe.
Do we not do the opposite? Do we not do the same, though? When you create a break point?
No, that's true. But, you know, at least I know in football we kind of used to discredit the team a little bit when they
Yeah, we do.
they don't play well and they win just because they have they've scored on that opportunity. While in tennis we praise this ability.
In football we do both. It depends on who you're supporting,
for
Mario.
sure,
because actually you will get a lot of praise for the big teams. The best thing about this team is that they win when they're not playing well. You do get that a bit from either neutrals, but of course, if it's against Napoli for you, or if it's against Manchester United for me, we just get annoyed by it. But when it happens again and again, and like we said with Igor at Roland Garros, or Rafa generally on clay throughout parts of his career, Djokovic just generally in many respects, that we go, the sign of a great champion is to win matches and win tournaments when you're not playing well.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, of course, the scores are so different. But I get what you say. It's a good
important hold there for Andreeva, no?
Absolutely, because it lets her, of course, build the lead. Because if you get the breaks, give the break straight away, then it's almost as you never broke. So
yeah. And I actually expected her to get under pressure the next game. So I thought she may hold for 3-1, but I just thought she might have to save a break point or two or juice or whatever. But that was over so quickly, I think we were having a conversation about football, and before we knew it, that game was held.
I mean, she's been very good, playing a couple great shots. So she didn't even need Aryna to miss in order to. And these are also important things because if she starts to believe more and more in her weapons today, of course the win may change.
Yeah. Well, she's 3 holds away right now. Of course, Aryna's not going anywhere, and she's going to keep applying the pressure as she is doing so far in this service game. But yeah, I think we've sort of moved away now from the sort of 3-2 territory that we feared probably 20 minutes ago, and now we're wondering, well, we might go 3.
Yeah, absolutely. I only, I thought we may go to that territory once Sabalenka held, saving 3 break points in the first game this set. I say, okay, so Andreeva didn't break here. When is she going to do that? But yeah, of course, we haven't understood always how things can quickly change in tennis, in this sport, and the momentum switches.
That net, that volley at the net there from Sabalenka was quite funny.
Yeah,
I'm guessing it hit the main part of her racket, but I don't know. I'm going to watch the replay now if that might tell us exactly where on the racket. That's quite difficult to see, but she's smiling after that one. I mean, listen. If there is a pattern here in this match, it could be the US Open final of 2023. Similar opponent, Andreeva, Coco Gauff, Sabalenka on the other side of the net. Things looking pretty good at the end of the first set. But yeah, that's just something that's just sprung to my mind. I'm just going to have a look at the score.
I don't know. Sabalenka was playing bad in that US Open final, in my opinion. But yeah, scoreline wise, yeah.
Yes, 6-2. Yeah. It's probably maybe it wasn't scoring, but you're right. She did have a bad second and third set for sure.
Here she's still looking okay. Andreeva played well, very well to go a break up here in the second set. So I don't think she has to be hard on herself for being a breakdown. She just has to accept it and keep doing what she's doing, because I feel like her level is quite okay today. She's playing well at moments, and even when she's not playing, Aryna looks too frustrated. Yeah, indeed. That's what I mean. I don't feel like she's even missing that much right now. So
yeah, I think she's actually she can show her frustration, and by the way, she can respond very well. But I
Yeah,
think she was looking more annoyed, both in the US Open final we just mentioned, but even in Australia in that first set against Madison, she was getting quite frustrated with herself. Today, she's a bit annoyed, but she's up a set. It's still only 3-2. She still could win. She gets a break back, and then, you know, the whole match changes entirely again in her favor. And right now, you know, if you were giving me percentages, I would go, first of all, you know, 75-25 that Aryna wins the match. But I'd even go, I still think she might get it done in straights.
It's possible.
She needs to, actually, she's not creating huge, I mean, she's taking her chances when she's getting them on the Andreeva serve. But in this set, for example, she's yet to garner a break point, I think, on the Andreeva serve.
Yeah, that's true. But, you know, the story of the match hasn't shown us, you know, that it's too important to serve, you know.
No, there's breaks out there, isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a match where you may think also game by game, and so just look at it. I'm just one game behind, you know.
Oh, okay, that's landed in. Oh, that's landed in too. Good depth.
Yeah, I also
landed out. Sorry.
No, it was out. I also didn't understand that point because without I'm watching without the sound, because with a phone, it would make listen too loud on the stream. So I didn't understand who won the point, and I needed to look at the scoreboard to understand who made the mistake in the end.
Tommy Haas there in the stadium. Oh, I just every time I see Tommy Haas, I feel a bit sorry for every other tournament director, or certainly the tournament directors of the smaller tournaments, because
yeah, that's true.
I just know how they don't have a single second spare. I think we interviewed a couple. I interviewed the Delray Beach tournament director a couple of years ago, or 18 months ago, and I know Nick interviewed the tournament director in Birmingham in 23, and both of those said exactly the same thing, that they are just so busy they can barely see a point of tennis all week. You know, that in English we say putting out fires all the time, you know, just so many things they've got to do. Tommy Haas, I just see him practicing with the players. I see him chill there. And I just think that's a different level of tournament directorship.
Yeah, definitely.
He's a figurehead, isn't he? He's a figurehead.
You can see he has a staff.
yeah, he has staff. He has staff to do all that. Yeah, exactly. Mark is asking about the Google score. Google score's pretty close. It's probably 15 seconds behind reality, something like that. So if you're in the stadium, you'll get it about maybe, let's say, 10 seconds.
Yeah, let's say that it's Google. Perfect for me.
Perfect for you. And I cannot look at it because it's
streaming.
Yeah.
But let's say a normal streaming, not 2 minutes behind the reality. It goes exactly fine.
The thing is, though, I do pay. Ooh, it's going to be a break point now for Sabalenka. Okay, so I'm not going to look at the score right now on the screen because it's obviously a really important moment. 30-40. I'll come to you in a second with a question, actually, Mario. But before we do, I'm just going to talk through this upcoming point, because just positing the idea that this could be a Sabalenka break back about 2 minutes ago. Let's see what happens. Good first serve there from Andreeva, but decent depth on the return. The venom, of course. Oh, Sabalenka there. You just felt that she dealt with that really good first serve, and that actually she was going to start to create an advantage in the point. But before you know it, she's put a backhand into the net, so it's juice. I've forgotten what the question was now, but it was obviously going to be Sabalenka, Andreeva. Actually, I have got a question about Alcaraz, but I'm going to wait until maybe the next change of ends. Just as we see this point, we're at juice here, backhand there from Sabalenka. She's just got to keep it over the net. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Forcing the error there as Andreeva tries to squash ball it back.
This is getting entertaining.
I've just decided to turn the volume up because I don't have commentators, and I actually quite like it. Amy Lundy tweeted a couple of days ago that, oh, wow, wonderful depth there from Sabalenka. Net cord goes in her favor as well. Short ball here. Is she going to win the point? I think she is. Has it gone out? Oh, it's landed in.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. Sabalenka must have seen that go past her, thinking, I think this, she would have been hoping, but also maybe believing that's going to land out. Because I saw it fizz past and I thought, I think it's still going to go the wrong side of the line. Look at that. That must have just clipped the line. Sabalenka, look at her reaction. She can't believe it. I mean, it's excellent from Andreeva. Excellent speed, but also accuracy on the shot. Now Andreeva's at the net, but she's going to put that volley away nicely. This will be an unbelievable hold for her, not just because of the 2 break points saved, but because of the nature of some of these points.
Yeah, absolutely. And also because, crucial moment in the set. Of course, we're not at the end of it,
No.
but,
Getting closer.
Yeah, we're starting getting closer and closer. So, now she can try to put pressure.
There you go. Sorry, Mario. Good serve down the tee there, and it's got her out of trouble. There you go, 4-2. Yeah, so Amy Lundy was tweeting a day or two ago that she misses commentators if they're not on her stream, and I know there was a really funny comment from James in our WhatsApp chat if you saw him say that. And he's right, but I don't mind listening to you or Damien or Vanch or whoever we have, and I find it very entertaining and enjoyable. There's a lot of commentators that don't offer me much, and I'm just quite happy with. Also, and by the way, sometimes they do, but sometimes I want to have my own thoughts, and sometimes they can be influenced.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
I generally watch it without commentary, but just because I like to just hear at
everything, just from the match, yeah,
indeed.
Oh, lovely redrop there from Andreeva. Wow, great response from her regarding the way the match was going and those break points that she missed out on again at the beginning of this set.
Yeah, but also considering that Aryna actually tried to get back on track in the set, so.
Okay. Good serve there from Aryna, but good return. This is turning into a bit of an epic rally already that Aryna is going to put into the net. So it's love 30. A little bit of frustration there from Sabalenka.
Yeah, I mean, the mistake, it's right to be frustrated.
She might be frustrated with her shot selection there. Yeah, she could have just carried on the rally, but then she's also trying something that we've praised her for in the past, which is, adding variety to her game.
And she has to. Even today, it's important. So I don't disagree with the choice.
Okay, second serve here at love 30. Those double faults feel a long time ago.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. She may have double faulted in this match. I don't even remember one from Sabalenka.
It's amazing,
Yeah. I remember some double faults from Mirra Andreeva in this match, but I don't remember any from Sabalenka. She may have double faulted.
Actually, it's 1-1.
Oh, really? Okay. It felt like a Mirra double faulted a couple of times, but okay.
At least Google says that.
We'll go with Google for now. Sabalenka here in charge of the point, and she wins it 30-all.
Yeah, look, in my opinion, they are both playing well right now.
I agree.
Probably not as good as at the end of the first set, but the second set, regardless of who is winning it, it's more enjoyable because I feel like the level is better than in the first one. Both players are doing okay, aside from, of course, a normal couple mistakes here and there. So it's really enjoyable.
I agree. I mean, Sabalenka was really knocking at the door for that break back. with some excellent tennis, and Andreeva responded. Let's see how Andreeva returns there. Not bad, but not good enough.
The way she played here from love 30.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sometimes Aryna does that though, right? She just that annoyance, that anger that she sort of has, it seems like, and she just plays even better. You know, I mean, Djokovic-esque in a way.
Yeah, even though for me it's mostly because they don't let this anger to.
No.
I mean, at times, yes, at times it happens, but you know, generally they are able to forget. Yeah, indeed. And I mean, many players actually say it, that, you know, in tennis, of course, it's a sport where you will lose many points, you will lose many games and matches in your career. So forgiving yourself, it's, you know, really an important quality for
absolutely
tennis players.
And Sabalenka does indeed hold. So again, that scoreline seems still very narrow there at 4-3, but Andreeva is 2 holds away from forcing a deciding set. But yeah, I mean, her and Djokovic in particular, but you're right, other players too, that they don't get distracted by their own anger, that they still can stay in the point, they can still stay in the mindset and the zone.
Yeah, then it's personal.
I mean, we do see some players though mentally get really frustrated and then collapse on themselves. I'm thinking of players further down the rankings, maybe think players like Basilashvili or Jamur.
So definitely not players who reached number 1 position in the ranking.
Maybe Zverev, maybe is somebody that, maybe Medvedev, maybe Medvedev, maybe.
Yeah, more than Zverev. Zverev is more than, he tends to get a bit more passive when it matters. But I don't really think that he has an issue with, you know, getting angry and started playing bad because of it.
I think maybe Medvedev springs to mind as sort of, you know, he's just so annoyed with his levels, so annoyed with the way the match is going that, yeah, you know, you have the, you know, I know you weren't a big fan of it, although it didn't bother me when he turned his racket around to return his serve in the ATP finals last year, you know?
Yeah.
And he's really
But still, you know, it got to those things in his career because it's not the biggest example you may say, you know, on the tour, let's say. There are of course players who lets their frustration and anger.
So just watching that.
I'm watching the rally.
Yeah, you're watching the rally. I'm seeing the previous point, which was a lot of fun. I thought Sabalenka was going to try another tweener there, by the way. It was just too far away from her in the end. That was a fun tweener effort she made a couple of rounds ago, wasn't it? She also put on social media, didn't she?
She put it in, I think. Yeah. No.
She what?
But maybe no, it was nearly out. I don't remember. I remember
she lost the point, but I think it may have landed in.
I feel like.
Yeah. I think it landed, but she certainly tweeted about it, and that was quite funny.
Yeah, I remember.
It just looked uncomfortable. That was the worst thing. It looked like a lot of amateurs do it. Okay. Somebody tweeted the other day giving us some praise at Talking Tennis because of the coverage that we give to the women's game. It was super nice tweet. A very rare tweet in this respect. Double fault there from Andreeva. Very rare tweet in that respect. But I was also like saying, listen, the game of tennis itself on the court for women's tennis, I think it's in just such good shape at the moment. You know, I think it's such an interesting story and narrative, and so many of those, by the way, that, you know, 1 minute Coco is providing us with the narrative, next minute it's Iga, next minute it's Aryna, now it's maybe Mirra, Andreeva. But you know, there's so many things going on that are fun that it does make it a little easier to cover it the way we do. Just watching this point here, Sabalenka's gonna get it, I think. Is that gonna land? Oh, it landed on the line. Wow. So we're almost at neutral. But we are at neutral here. What's going to go on now? We're at backhand. Now I think Andreeva's up in this particular rally. She's going to go for the drop shot. Oh, my goodness me.
Yeah.
Possibly point of the match.
No, look, well, I think is that for me, I just like tennis. So, for me, finding storylines, it's, it's not as difficult as...
okay, but okay, and you might be right, and it could be me, but I don't know.
Even though, of course, the women's story is, in great shape. That's definitely right.
There are always stories. I'm obviously showing bias towards the top of the game, So if we just see, as you mentioned, as Mirra Andreeva holds there for 5-3, if we see a Wimbledon final like we saw last year with Alcaraz beating Djokovic in the nature he did, or if we see Sinner just winning the US Open.
Oh yeah, okay.
It was kind of obvious from the beginning, if you like, and so on and so forth. And same, you said that you still enjoyed the clay court season, if even in Roland Garros, even if you knew Rafa Nadal was going to win it in the day. But there's probably a lot of people that watched Rafa Nadal beat Casper Ruud in that French Open final and probably didn't find it as exciting as I just find there's a lot more stories at the top of the game on the women's side than there are at the men's at the moment. It can change.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. For
today,
example,
of course, we have a great story, but
today I'm the most excited I've been in a while for a final, because I don't care. There's no, top 5 player in this final. The players are good. The story is good. The winner, it's not clear to me who's going to win, meaning that I may give a prediction. Of course, I may imagine how the match goes, but I don't think there is a clear favorite in this one.
No.
So I would say that we have everything in order to have a good final that maybe doesn't deliver. It happens in the women's tennis as well. But, on paper, it's a great final. Other times I agree with you, of course, that we have struggled a little bit, just because, there is a big gap, of course, between... even though, with Alcaraz, at times we've seen him, struggling a bit in matches where he shouldn't be. But yeah, he's still very good compared to others, especially if he reaches the Grand Slam final. That's the thing.
Yeah. And it just changes from tournament to tournament on the WTA side. We'll go from the Australian Open to the Middle East to Indian Wells and then to Miami, and they're all hard courts, but they're sufficiently different for us to begin each tournament with a very different idea on how it's going to go. In Australia, we're thinking very differently to Indian Wells, and yet I think if Yannick was playing in Indian Wells right now, we'd be imagining a Yannick Carlos final if the draw kept them apart for that long, and so on and so forth. Whereas, as it turned out, this women's tournament, we probably did get the 4 best players of the year in the semifinals. But even that itself, Tommy Haas has got his phone out, and it looks like he's recording parts of this match.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably we are in the men's tour. We are a bit like in WTA we were in 2022, maybe the beginning of 2023. Where you have a couple player who are clearly better than the rest. While now, there are still, of course, the top player on the WTA, but you got players who can challenge them, and can do it, I would say, in the biggest matches, because it's not like Zverev cannot beat Sinner. For example, they played in Cincinnati a semifinal and it was incredibly close. But then they face in the Australian Open final. And you say, no, I don't think it's going to be very close.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm at 30 all. I know you're at deuce, which is kind of the same. Let's just go back to 30 all. Oh, I'm seeing the point that precedes it, which sets up a set point for Andreeva with just, that was nuts, that backhand down the line. Again, turning defense, not just turning defense into attack, turning defense into a winner.
Yes, indeed.
You know, we see Djokovic probably the best of all time at turning defense into attack, in my opinion. And that's one thing, but, you know, turning defense into a winner is, wow.
Yeah, let's say that probably it's, you know, beat Alcaraz can do something like that. But what impressed me the most about Andreeva is that with Alcaraz, you know, maybe you hear the extended ground. Indeed, with Andreeva, no, you know, she's just, you know, silent, and she hits this winner out of nowhere, and you're like, oh, you're not even struggling to do that, you know?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So yeah, that's for sure. Impressive. I mean, and now there's going to be a crucial moment.
Yes, indeed. Hi to you, Lexi, as well. We're going to have a big service game, probably the biggest game in the match so far. ATP in about 2 years is going to be amazing. I think, yeah, you might well be right. I mean, it might even be amazing in the next few weeks if Runa and Draper can deliver on this promise. Probably Runa in particular, in the promise that we thought of that he may have in terms of being a top 5 player. You know, Zverev can rediscover his form. Maybe if Yannick comes back and it takes him a few weeks, that might be enough to keep things super entertaining as well. Carlos,
well, in 2 years, in 2 years, there have been many weeks.
yeah, true, yeah.
In the meantime,
Carlos,
but yeah, I get what you say, of course.
Yeah,
usually clay. Right now, probably clay. It's the surface.
What's that, sorry?
I don't know. Last year, for example, we had a clay season where it was uncertain.
Yeah, but I think again, it's this, isn't? I mean, I think clay might be the most uncertain surface in a way right now. With yes, Alcaraz is amazing. Yes, Yannick can win titles.
But, you know,
but Zverev doesn't lose anything on. Doesn't lose much.
Yes, exactly.
A lot of players like Zverev in the past. You know, we think of the big. He's got a lot more than that, but a lot of tall, you know, Germans, perhaps, you know, big servers. We sort of see them come and go on the tour, but he doesn't really lose much on clay, if anything. So that helps make it super competitive. Then you got Holger.
It's his best surface, actually.
Okay.
At least compared to the competition, you know, for example, the way he pushed Alcaraz in the French Open final.
Yeah.
So.
What's Carlos's best? I don't, apart from Indian Wells tournament conditions, I don't know the rest of the planet because grass is going pretty well for him right now.
Well, I actually think hard courts, despite the success he's had, probably comes third. Okay. But just because probably he's overshadowed a little bit by Sinner's dominance on hard courts, maybe I'm talking this way. But I
think it might change. I think we might reassess Carlos 5 different times in his career and go, right now it's grass, right now it's hard. Because I think even 2 or 3 years ago, people were starting to move away from clay.
For me, it depends also on the competition.
Yes. Who's
meaning that, for example, if you look at Djokovic's number, he has an unbelievable amount of deep runs at the French Open and all the clay masters, but you know, having to beat Nadal there makes a difference. But yeah, overall I feel like yeah, it's tough to say, but simply because there's not a surface where you know, he wins everywhere, but probably doesn't dominate that much. And you know, yeah, grass, but grass is only wind, so you cannot really tell, in my opinion.
And Andreeva is sending us to 3 sets, and it's the serve. It's the serve. Wow. It's the serve, ladies and gentlemen, and that's why we're going 3. The audience seem to be very happy that we're going 3. I don't necessarily think it's anything about being pro Mirra or anti Aryna. It's just they want to see more tennis, and they're going to get it. When was the last time we had 3 sets in a women's Indian Wells final, or even an Indian Wells final at all?
21.
21. Okay, so Paola Badosa, wasn't it? I think
Victoria
21, wasn't it?
Azarenka. Yeah, that
Yeah.
lasted more than 3 hours, actually, probably even 3.5. It was very long final.
Oh wow, I'm just seeing it. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but I think in
And
19 we
Badosa's
also
not won a big title
went
since.
3 between Andreescu and Kerber.
Okay. Yeah. So, but still, 4 years since we last had a three-setter on the women's side. On the men's, let's think about this, Mario. So last year and the year before were straight sets for Alcaraz. The year before that was straight sets for Taylor.
21 as
Cam
well.
Norrie. Cam Norrie was
sets.
3 sets. Okay, so there
Yeah.
we go. Maybe we need to play this tournament in October to have a 3-set final. Well, not today anyway. Hi, Gilles. Good to have you on board. I'm not quite sure what works in South Africa means, but maybe it was something we were talking about. Oh, I see. He's looking for a link. I don't really know who will be showing the match, I'm afraid, in South Africa, Gilles, but probably a quick Google search will be more fruitful
Yeah, I really
than
have
listening.
no idea because
Isn't there a way on a website, maybe on the WTA website, for example, or ATP website, where it says all over the world?
I have no idea actually, because in Italy WTA is free for everybody, so I don't know.
Oh, it's on free TV. So this is on free TV right now.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
All the WTA tour.
That's pretty cool.
And the US Open. I don't know why. because we have a free channel that shows tennis, so it depends on deals. And so
we have Wimbledon, and in the UK, Wimbledon free TV. That's it. Then on German TV, honestly, I think it's all on pay TV. I could be wrong. Maybe Halle or Munich or something is on free TV, and I just don't know it. But
look, we have this channel. It's called Super Tennis. It just shows tennis, and 24 hours per day.
Okay.
Live, non-live programs, insights, and all these things.
And do they have rights? Look at that return, by the way. Do they have rights to live matches as well sometimes?
Yeah, for the World WTA Tour and the US
I see. Got it.
That's why I say it's...
And that's the free channel, Mario?
Free channel on TV, yeah.
Wow.
We are Love 40.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So
it looks like Andreeva may never lose again.
I know.
Somebody has tweeted it for Keys the day before she won just one game against Sabalenka.
Oh right, okay, yeah. So yeah, Love 40, and that's huge. I mean, I say, she's putting some great returns in there. Although that returns, Sabalenka should have probably done a bit better there. All right, I'm going to talk us through this next point. We'll see how this turns out. There's some instructions coming from her coach right now, who, by the way, he just comes across as a super nice guy, her coach. I met him in Berlin last year, like doing the when he was talking to a stringer. And I say met him. I don't even know if we exchanged words, but I just saw him come to the stringer and have a chat with the stringer there. Anyway, here we go. Sabalenka goes down the tee, forehand, block return almost. Sabalenka's going to come into the net. She's going to get past.
Yeah.
And we've got the break already. And yes, Mirra Andreeva is going to go the rest of her career unbeaten. Yeah, let's go back to the ATP tour.
By the way, I tell you, very curious thing. If Andreeva wins today, she's going to have the exact last 4 matches Keys got to win the Australian Open. Rybakina, round 16, Svitolina quarterfinal, Swiatek semifinal, Sabalenka in the final. The exact same opponents.
Wow. And she beat Swiatek in 3 sets and potentially Sabalenka in 3 sets. So that's the same number of sets. Svitolina
that's also true. I mean, for Keys, they all were 3-setters. Keys, those 4 matches.
I think Andreeva beat Svitolina in straights, right?
All straight sets matches before the semifinal.
Yeah. Anyway, huge potential hold here, though, and she's under a little bit of pressure at the beginning already. Oh, okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that, Mario. which is kind
Yeah,
of
I don't know if it means something.
I mean, it's fun.
Probably
It's fun.
it just means that these are the top players you have to beat
Yeah.
probably to win the big tournaments.
I mean, it's like when we see these tweets about birthdays or numbers or whatever. They don't
No,
mean
the
anything.
curious thing is that round 16, the same opponent, quarterfinal, the same opponent, semifinal, basically it's all the same. So that's
what it also does say to me is that we're seeing, lots of players go out at the same. We're seeing Vabakana get to lots of quarterfinals. It feels like. I mean, okay, I think in Australia, Vabakana feels like she's going out every tournament between somewhere around round of 16 or semis or quarters. Iga is just seemingly always going out in the semis. And who is it? Oh, Svitolina, is a sort of regular quarterfinal player. That's what it feels like to some extent. And Andreeva and Keys just meet them,
Yeah, no, that's true. The other count, it wasn't that big on the second at the end of the second set because I watched the stat. It was Andreeva hitting 17 winners basically.
Okay, that's interesting.
I think it was 7 or 7, 8 unforced errors for Aryna in the second set.
I'm seeing that return of serve there from Aryna, and it was very makeable. Sometimes you can be, and I'd have to watch that return again, but I sometimes feel like this, that was a backhand that was weird. Sometimes you're almost too deep for that return, and you sort of hit the ball with what you think you're hitting it pretty hard, and you can't, and then you just see it go in the net, and you almost can't believe it. But it's because you were so deep that you end up still putting it in the net. I see that sometimes with Rafa. That's a great return of serve there, though, from Aryna. It's going to help her win the point. In fact, did that even make it over the net? I'm not sure, but it was a funny point all the same. Yeah, so at least we're having a 3-set Indian Wells final anyway. We might get another one in a couple of hours.
Why not?
Yeah, I think it's an exciting final. I feel Sabalenka's CV is obviously a lot more impressive than Holger Rune's, but I have a similar feeling that there's no pressure on either player in the grand scheme of things. Like Sabalenka wins or loses today, Andreeva the same. Rune has made a big statement this last 10 days, and so has Jack Draper. So for me and you, there's no pressure on either player. We know
for me and you, exactly.
Yeah, for me and you watching it.
The key word.
but sure, Rune and Jack Draper won't be like super chilled, but they could and they should be. And yet I also feel that just Rune, because he's 2 years younger than Jack, but because 2 years ago, between 2022 and 2023, he made 3 1000s within the space of about 8 months, I think, didn't he? He made Paris, Bercy. He would have made Monte Carlo and Rome. And I don't think he's made one since Rome, has he? So
no, yeah, exactly.
So, and Rune's sort of the expectations regarding him and just kind of where he has been the last 2 years, if you like, not to say he's not had a great 2 weeks, but just
for me, it's just for both this time a good chance to win a big title. Because I know they both are great players, but to be an Indian Wells final, probably at the beginning of the tournament, in my opinion, would you like to get Draper in the final? Would you like to get Rune in the final? It's gonna be tough, but I won't complain.
Yeah,
that's
of course.
My idea,
What about that mishit return from Sabalenka that just landed on the baseline and she ends up winning the point as a result? That's funny. Yeah, I just I know what you mean. This is also something with what came to my head was you were saying that with Jack is that I think Jack will win big titles, 1000s, maybe a slam too. I don't know. I'm not quite sure that he'll be a multiple slam winner, but he may well win one slam. Yeah, why not? Anyway, but he might never win an Indian Wells. He might never be in an Indian Wells final again. That's very possible for Jack, I mean. So yeah, there's that side of it. And Indian Wells is huge. Okay, Sabalenka here's got a break point. I'm going to come to you in a second, Mario, after this break point has played out. Andreeva's going to serve, and she's going to serve long on the first one by some distance as well. So she might just be feeling a bit anxious here. Second serve. I mentioned the double faults before. She doesn't double fault. Good return, though, there from Sabalenka. And I think it's going to win at the point. It does. And now there's been a few momentum shifts, and I think there's going to be a few more, but it does feel when the bigger player, if you like, breaks back.
Weird. It's been a weird break, actually. Because Andreeva got all the chances, and then Sabalenka kind of out of nowhere created one and managed to break.
She must be so clinical on break points today, again, Sabalenka, because I wouldn't be surprised if Mirra's had far more break points than her.
I just would say that at this point, they both kind of need to, to use their opportunities.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get what you say. And
Google says that Mirra has broken twice from 10 opportunities, and Sabalenka's 3 from 6.
Yeah, it feels like Sabalenka has kind of, the 6-2. In the second set, both had the chance to break the opponent more than they did. In the first set, Sabalenka basically took all her chances, and that's why she won it pretty comfortably.
Just give me a second, Mario. I'll be back in about 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
So, on my stream, we are 30-all right now. This is, of course, an important game because after breaking back for Sabalenka, it can really be important to, to try to push Andreeva, to put pressure on herself by holding serve in this game. And yes, of course, right now we are in the deciding set. So, every game is basically very, very important. The second serve here for Sabalenka on an important point. And it's a good return. Sabalenka is defending. Not anymore, actually. But she misses. So break point. Now we'll be back to John's stream.
I know I have a break point to come right now. Of course,
exactly.
It's 30 all, I think, for me. But we're going to have a break point to come. I was going to see how this previous point panned out. Second serve as well. Be interesting to know as well regarding a percentage of first serves in, whether that would give us a huge clue as to how this match has panned out thus far. Just coming up to 10-1 local time. It's really nice that they play this match at 11 in the morning for us Europeans.
11 in the morning.
That's when it starts, right?
So true, that's right.
7 p.m. for us is 11 a.m.
Yes, indeed, 11 in the morning.
That's
kind of weird for a final to be played so early, yeah.
But it helps for putting, not often if they're straight sets as they have been in recent years, it helps us watch both Indian Wells finals pretty comfortably in Europe. Okay, break point here for Mirra Andreeva. I'm going to come to you in a second, Mario. Let's see how this break point pans out, and whatever happens afterwards, I will come to you. Sabalenka will be desperate for a first serve here with 1 hour and 40 minutes on the clock. She'll go out wide. Good first serve there, and it's going to get her out of trouble. Yeah, 11 a.m. start.
The first break point.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's the 11th one that's come and gone now. 11th one, sorry, that's not come and gone. She's only taken 2 from 11 now, I guess, Mirra. Is she going to get another one? Yeah, probably. We've had a lot of breaks today, haven't we? She's going to have another break point, yeah. We've had a lot of breaks today. I wonder if basically we're seeing something like 60% of the time they're holding.
Not that many actually in the first 2 sets, but now, yeah, I mean 3 out of 3.
Oh, okay. So Mirra's broken. Yeah, but in the first set, Sabalenka broke twice. In the second set, Andreeva broke. Did she only break once?
Yeah, 1 break.
Oh, okay. All right. But still,
So,
that's
I mean,
3. Now we've had 3 back-to-back. So that's 6 in the match out of 8, 18, 20. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, not so many. Yeah, 21 games. A lot of pressure serves, though, as well. Like Aryna saving all those break points.
Yeah, that's for sure. But even Mirra, of course, even though she hasn't conceded that many break points, but yeah, there have been also a lot 30 situations. So, well, yeah. Was that always the case, the Indian Wells final? No, I kind of remember that it always has been the case, because I clearly remember in 16 watching Serena Williams against Azarenka, and it wasn't even, that late for me. It was kind of 7 p.m. or something similar. I just guess probably. No, I don't guess. I don't know. I don't have a clue why this happens. And probably just because Europe is a good market for tennis.
Yeah.
So probably they push these finals to not start too late.
I'm sure the US is a good market too, which is why you'll sort of have Wimbledon at 3 p.m. That's not too bad for New York anyway. 3 p.m. in New York will be 10 a.m. Sorry, 3 p.m. in Wimbledon will be 10 a.m. in New York. And yeah, I mean, you might just be tempted to go another. I don't know how big the audience would be in California. You might be tempted to just put another hour back, make Wimbledon 4 p.m. or the French Open 4 p.m. or whatever. Because they tend to be 2 or 3 p.m., don't they? The Wimbledon and French Open finals, for example. But again, US Open tends to be okay. Yes, I remember.
They have changed. They have changed this year.
Is it going to be even earlier?
Yeah, this year it started at 2 p.m. in New York. So 8 p.m. basically in Central European time. While it was 4 p.m., so 10 p.m. for us.
Yeah, the team Zverev one, I remember being particularly late. Probably, well, no, not probably, definitely for you guys, Nadal Medvedev would have been late as well in terms of when it finished. But I was actually at that match in New York, so for me it finished, I think. I had a friend of mine in a bar. Here's a little tennis anecdote. So I was in New York for the men's final in 2019, and I had a friend of mine, and he was meeting another friend for a beer. And I said, I think, well, with tennis, you never know, but I might be able to meet you as early as 7 o'clock, like 7 p.m. And when Nadal's up 2 sets, I think he might have had a break. Did he have a break at the beginning of the third? So he's up 2 sets and a break, and I think it's like 6, I'm guessing 6 o'clock New York time, maybe a bit later. I said, yep, might well be there at 7 o'clock. 3 hours later, I'm still in Arthur Ashe.
Yeah, tennis is like that. So many friends of mine, I really cannot tell. I cannot tell you when I'm coming.
I know, yeah. In the end, I ended up meeting my friend back at the apartment. We were still living that tournament. Well, I was living that tournament in a way on not quite European time, but I was getting really tired at like 10, 11 o'clock every night and waking up quite early, which was fine. But I just remember I was only there for like 5 days, but I loved it. I loved. We had the women's final the day before, which was Andreescu, Serena. I think that was a pretty good one as well. Yeah. Big. I mean, they're all big holes right now, but still.
I mean, she consolidates, of course, the break. So let's see. This game may be very important.
Yeah, I mean, the previous set, of course, was similar with Aryna serving first. but she managed to get over the line. There was that game where Mirra, I think, had to save a couple of break points, maybe.
Yeah.
At about 4-3, maybe, something like that.
No, it was 3-2.
3-2, okay, yeah. And I thought Aryna was going to get the break back there, but she didn't. So, but again, when Aryna gets that 1-all, I mean, there's so many blows in a way that Mirra's had to recover from. It's very impressive, mentally, especially so far.
Yeah, definitely. Well,
I feel sad. Same with Dominic Thiem, you know, but at least I know Dominic Thiem didn't get to win it in front of an audience, but it's better to feel sad, but they have had some great moments than sad, but you know, if you're a Maria Sakkari fan, for example, or even an
yeah,
Andreeva
indeed,
fan, or,
exactly.
yeah. So you got to strike when you get that chance, and Thiem and Andreescu struck. So yeah, Cilic struck. You know, these guys,
Yes,
these people.
exactly.
The decision yesterday, I was doing a commentary, so it was difficult to see exactly what was going on, but the possible
everything went wrong.
Double back. I'm talking about the double.
Talking about that.
Yeah. So my understanding now, and I still haven't probably thought about it or watched it many times since, is I think Liani basically messes up, right?
Yeah. So let's say that the double bounce shouldn't even have been called. And let's also say that Alcaraz would have lost the point anyway. But still, according to the rules, Liani called the double bounce before Alcaraz played the shot, so it should have been replayed. So let's say that he kind of screwed both, and of course not Draper in the end because he got the point.
Oh, what a volley! Sorry, go on.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. Everything went wrong, actually.
Yeah, I guess. Listen, this is just one thing I might say in Liani's defense is because of now we have this video review, which is obviously very new for everyone. What it means is we could maybe just be a little slower in making a decision. Maybe we can learn something from this, and the umpires especially, maybe it might be a case of saying to the umpire, look, if there's a possible double bounce, maybe we need to really be trying. I don't know. This is just me thinking off the top of my head. We need to watch the point and see how it goes.
Exactly.
And then we'll come back. Like we do with VAR and the offside,
But yeah, and here it's even easier because you just see if this possible double bounce has affected the point. Alcaraz misses the shot, Draper wins the point, and maybe you let Carlos ask for the VAR.
Yeah.
Like call the double bounce only if you're really sure.
Oh,
Liani wasn't sure because Liani right at the beginning said to Draper, look, I may be wrong. I may be wrong.
Yeah, he did say that, yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, so if we have this, probably, you shouldn't, you shouldn't call the double bounce if you're not sure. But I mean, it's not easy. I can get it.
Because the rule has changed a bit, and maybe it's like, yep, okay, what we need to do now is, and maybe listen, you umpire, the job is to do your job, and on this occasion he got it wrong. And he also, but if the other player in this instance, obviously Carlos is saying, it's a really pretty important hold there for Aryna. In this instance, I think Carlos basically said, no, he deserves the point. Is the umpire not right to then go, okay? I mean, you can feel the pressure that that Liani would have felt. Can the umpire still insist, or should he insist that the point is still replayed?
I don't know. Basically, yesterday, what happened is that Draper called twice, right? Called it twice. Because he didn't believe that the double bounce, and then to challenge Layani's decision to replay, because Layani say replay the point. And then we got to see
right. So yes.
And Draper challenged again. But actually, Draper was not right in that moment. But I mean, he has the right to challenge, so I'm not saying it's Draper's fault. Also because I get Draper just, got to the ball and believed, of course, he believed his right to challenge the decision. It's a tough situation because we have also this rule that I don't know if it really makes sense. I mean, Carlos, let's be honest, he wouldn't have won the point in any case, but still, according to the rule, that point should have been replayed.
Yeah, I understand. Okay, well, we've seen Andreeva deal with quite a few pressure service games in the last half an hour ago with unbelievable coolness, and it looks like she's doing the same again. Just getting these first serves in and just winning the point off that often. Wow. Yeah, is she ever going to lose a tennis match again?
Yes, in Miami. Yes, in Miami.
Maybe in 20 minutes, we'll see.
Maybe,
yeah. The biggest mistake is really the first one. Let the point play out. Let Alcaraz challenge after the point. Alcaraz can. Oh no, because Alcaraz probably has to challenge in the moment, right? Or can he wait for the end of the point and then challenge?
No.
He has to stop play, right? Which I think is
wrong.
Yeah,
this is the rule. And that's where there was Navarro at the Australian Open.
Yeah.
Against Swiatek, it was.
Which is just, she's never going to stop the point.
Exactly. Because it's not like the ball in or out, like it was before, that you see the ball is out, you stop the point and you challenge. It's in the middle, you're running, you're doing everything to put your racket on the ball. And
you might not even see it. You might be looking the other way.
The opposite. It was the opposite in Navarro's case. It was Iga not getting to the ball right in time. But how you stop in that particular moment? So
it's up to it. Really probably should be taken away, because also you can't see sometimes. It might be the net cord is in the way, or even the net itself, or the shoe of the other player. Who knows what could be preventing you from seeing it?
Especially because in that situation, it's easy. I challenge. If there's the double bounce, then I win the point. If not, I have already lost the point, so the decision remains the same, and I lost the point. We move on. So but I get that we have to probably. It will take probably 10 years, but we'll finally come to the right solution.
Yes, indeed. Anyway, a good solution here for Mirra Andreeva is another really comfortable hold of serve. Some good serving in there.
Let's say that unfortunately in tennis, these things rarely are the main reason a player has lost or won a match.
Yeah, of course.
But it may happen, and that's why we have to find a good solution. Like yesterday, I know that Carlos got broken, but you cannot say he lost the match because of the double bounce. But we know how in this sport every point can turn a match around and everything. So it's an important thing.
If it had been Jack or Carlos had been, let's say it did do a double bounce and Jack got away with it, and Carlos gets broken, then that sort of feels even more significant. But Yeah, I don't think we need to worry about it too much in terms of the outcome of yesterday's match, and I don't think Carlos was dwelling on it, and Jack probably neither.
No. Even because I mean, let's say that according to the rules, Carlos would have been a bit lucky because he would have got a chance to replay a point he would have lost. But yeah, I mean, the rule is there, so it should have been applied, and it hasn't been applied in the right way. So, you know, well,
Layani is someone that, you know, does sometimes seem to be there when these mistakes are occurring. I'm not trying to apply too much pressure on him. I know who's the umpire that Riley Opelka said was the worst on tour right now.
I don't remember.
I know who it was, but I could see his face, but I don't know his name. But
Agus Murphy, probably.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't him. I know who he is. Yeah. But you know, if you say that in football, you will the coach will get banned for a few games. Let's say that.
Yeah, definitely. In tennis, we have this issue anyway. In my opinion,
do you think the umpires don't get enough respect in tennis?
Absolutely.
We saw the situation with Zverev in Acapulco a few years ago.
For example, but if Medvedev, what is said against Greek sport to the umpire in football, it's a red card straight away, for example. So in tennis, of course, we have this issue that everybody has paid and there's a lot of money for that match, and disqualification, it's not a team sport. So disqualification means the player is out and the match is over.
Yeah.
And so it's like the players, let's say in Italy, we say they have the knife from the right side, meaning that, it's, they are in a comfortable situation, the situation of power, because if I get disqualified, the match is over and you lose money.
So they're not going to do that, but they still can punish the player in other ways, obviously with points and stuff like in the match itself. But yeah, but also with the comments from Riley, I think might have been said after the match. The Riley Opelka comments. And the problem is of course, now, he says this. It's just very uncomfortable for that umpire to be an umpire for Riley matches, but also for other players' matches too, because they will hear it. And then he's in a really weak position, Lovely to see you'd expect it, but a pretty much packed house for this final in Indian Wells. And there's a lot of compliments coming Mirra's way in terms of her coolness under pressure. And right until now, it's been a huge factor in terms of the way she's served under pressure in big moments today, serving at that second set and so far this third set as well. Yeah.
Probably against Swiatek also, especially because there have been some moments like in the tie break, but here as well, there have been moments where she could have got broken. But even the first points of a game are very important, because if you suddenly are 30 love up and then the service game is looking way different than if you of course lose a point, the first point, and then maybe some negative thoughts can come into your mind.
She's just serving so well.
Well, she's one game away.
Yeah.
From a second consecutive 1,000 title.
Yeah.
Which is basically the same as doing the Sunshine Double, meaning, we don't have we tend to group tournaments in this way, but she's still winning a second.
It's also the same in that they're two very different hard court tournaments, right?
Yes, indeed.
Just like, because that's part of the challenge of the Sunshine Double. Of course, the Sunshine Double is back to back in that respect, but it's also the fact that the court speed and the conditions obviously very different. But yeah, and again, it's a first serve that's going to help her basically get there into the body on that occasion that Sabalenka couldn't deal with. And of course, Sabalenka is going to have to hold as well, which has not always been the easiest task today. And Yeah, just the beginning of that second set when Sabalenka wins the first set 6-2, and then Sabalenka holds, having saved a couple of break points for 1-love. You're just thinking, okay, yeah, 2 and 3. It's been a great run for Mirra when you add that middle list, but look at it where we are now. It's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. Also many three-setters won this way against tough opponents. You mentioned Rybakina in Dubai, Iga 2 days ago. It was, yeah.
Yeah.
Today, if she manages to, of course, to get it done, and it's just amazing, just the way she also how suddenly everything has fallen into pieces, because you may see a growth like, okay, I've reached my first final and I've lost it, but still, like in Dubai against Towson, she was probably even the favorite entering the match.
Yeah.
This Indian Wells run would truly be impressive, absolutely impressive.
She's 15-30 right now, which is obviously very, very good news for her. But she'll actually be disappointed on the point that she lost, because she was arguably in charge of the rally before she dumped a forehand into the net, and she's going to have 2 match points, Mario.
Yeah.
Wow. For those tuning in, please do hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe, because we could be, after a wonderful return of serve here before the match points, we could be about to see Mirra Andreeva take the title. We could. You can announce it if it happens, Mario.
It hasn't happened so far.
Not yet. Not yet. Wow. If she doesn't take one of these 2, that's just going to add even more pressure to that hold that she'll be requiring. But she might take. Go on, Mario.
She's done it with a forehand winner.
Wow. Mirra Andreeva, take a bow. Take a bow. By the way, before it, there was another, as it turned out, a super defensive moonball, but Sabalenka should be dealing with that. But listen, take nothing away from Mirra Andreeva, who has got over the line and held her nerve. Actually, she did so by breaking Aryna's serve again in this set. And yeah, and I think she had 2 or 3 huge blows. No, more than 2 or 3. Just think about this, Mario. All those break points that came and went in the first set, particularly 4 in one game at 2-1, that she wasn't able to take. Then, not only does she have that blow, she then goes to get crushed by losing the next 5 games in a row. Yeah. So now she begins the second set, and she has a pretty quick moment off court, but she comes back, and it must be really quite devastating, having seen some of the scar tissue from earlier this year, losing those pretty comfortable matches that we mentioned, plus in those matches where all those break points came and went, Mario. And then she has more blows, because she has break points at the beginning of the second set, and Sabalenka holds. And you're just thinking, well, this is just going the same way as all those other matches. But she does eventually break Sabalenka and eventually win that second set. However, at the beginning of the third set, it's a bit more of the same, because she finally breaks her again, and Sabalenka breaks back immediately. And at 1-1 in that third set, it was really, every blow, it was getting more and more difficult to imagine Mirra Andreeva lifting the title. And yet here we are.
Yeah, but at some point, at least to me, once probably the moment for me was when she saved those break points at 3-2 in the second set. Here, when Sabalenka broke back, I didn't truly... of course, I was not even thinking Mirra is going to win, but I was not sure Aryna was going to win it. The wind had changed, at least in my opinion. Well, let's just say that, everything... that's the thing that impressed me the most about her, is that everything seems so natural in her game, kind of effortless sometimes. And she can, of course, mix slice with power, winners, great serves. It's, I don't know, it's just incredibly good. And it's been a while since we got such a young prospect already winning so much, because even Swiatek golf broke out early, but at 17 winning back-to-back 1000 events is, wow, something impressive.
Because Mirra broke out at 15, didn't she, in Madrid? I mean, it was just a few days, I think, before her 16th birthday. If I've got this right, I think she celebrates her birthday during that Madrid tournament. But that was when she broke out with the win over Layla on the first day in Madrid. I remember it because I had an Airbnb. I was at the tournament, and I actually missed the first hour or two of the day in terms of the matches happening, and on that particular first round day. And Layla was lost. And the story, it was probably actually still Mirra because she's 15 years old. But it was sort of, wow, Layla's out already. And Layla is still a name in the game, but 2 years ago, even more so. And then Mirra went on to back it up with a win over Lynette, I think, before losing to Sabalenka. But, wow, Sabalenka. By the way, has Mirra won the two biggest matches that they've played? So the head-to-head now is 4-2, but it was a French Open quarterfinal and an Indian Wells final. I mean,
Australian Open, what was? Round 16?
Yeah.
Okay, for me, it's pretty similar to a quarterfinal. I mean,
but Indian Wells final as well.
She's won the biggest one, the Indian Wells final. For me, it's bigger than the French Open quarterfinal, considering, that you still have to win 2 more matches in order to lift the French Open title. So, well, it's impressive. I have no words, actually. I'm struggling to really describing here, because there would just be so many good things to say that it's difficult to put everything together. I don't know if you get what I mean.
I do.
We're number 6 now, so
I've got two things to say, Mario, before we do close up here. And you can respond to one or both of those. Is first of all, she's going to be, as you said, number 6 in the world tomorrow. And number 6, by the way, if you see my John's WTA top 10 running across the bottom of the screen, is where I had her come the end of the year. Well, she may well exceed that number 6 ranking, but there she is at number 6. I know that Gil didn't have her in the top 10, I think, at all, which I thought was an interesting. It wasn't obvious that she was going to be top 10, but
but right now, it looks
of
like.
Of course, I look great, and Gil does. But look, he has Ego at number 2, and I've got her at number 5. So it comes and goes. But so that's the first thing, just the whole ranking thing, and just how far can she go? I think now we have to be thinking WTA finals. We have to be thinking top 5.
We have to think, of course, at the Grand Slam now.
Do we think that already? Do we think she's winning a Grand Slam this year? Do we think that there's a good chance of that? I mean,
I don't know, but for sure, now she enters a Grand Slam with a different perspective.
For sure.
Now that you already won 2 1000 events, you come to the French Open. By the way, you have reached the semifinals at the French Open last year. So that means you are one of the biggest favorites.
And I don't think she managed the occasion against Paolini very well, in my opinion. So now we know that she can. I think we know she can manage occasions. I mean, there'll always be ups and downs with that, and there'll be good days and bad. But we know at least she can do it. Apparently she's the youngest champion to win the title since Aryna. And even then, there's only a few days difference in 99.
Martina Hingis, Serena Williams, Mirra Andreeva. This is, the youngest players to win.
Do give Mario, by the way, a follow on social media. I've just put his X tag there in front of us, and also make sure you hit the like button, and of course subscribe to the channel if you're new. I think we need to have a quick word on Aryna before we do finish, though. This match could easily have gone her way. She's a runner-up again. That'll hurt. 2 in the last 3 years. She's been in the final and not managed to get over the line. We imagine that one day she will win this title. She's almost too good not to, but you still never know. She's still having a great year. She hasn't won a title since Brisbane, which is, by the way, only 2 months ago. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it means a huge amount. I don't think differently.
No, I still have to see something more. You know, I mean, it still feels like she has lost these 2 matches against a too strong story. You know, a Keys streak, Andreeva streak. So I don't know. I still need to see her losing another time, probably, to start talking about, you know, what probably
She's so
it's
funny.
in the back of my mind, you know, but not truly. We are not truly in the moment where I'm going to tell we have a problem. That's it.
Bless her. She said, like, I'm just going to imagine this. She's so funny. I'm imagining this is going to be a winning trophy. It is funny that it's basically the same, but half the size. It is a funny trophy in that respect. All right, Mario, I'll let you get away and deal with some social media stuff that I'm sure you have to deal with. I'm going to say a big thanks for joining me today. And yeah, I'm sure we'll be catching up soon.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. And let's all relax and enjoy the rest of our evenings. Enjoy the men's final as well. It's still to come. And just try and catch a few seconds of Aryna's speech because I'm sure it's going to be entertaining. Take care, everybody.
Both are going to be entertaining. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.